This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. This is Dana Gallagher, Process for Growth Consulting. At PFGC, we speak of one client, one solution in this manner. We know and understand our clients have multiple financial accounts, but in the end, you're one person and have one solution. That solution is made up of three components: investments, taxes, and estate planning. We then base our business model on processes that deliver the one client, one solution, and dictates how we develop a collaborative referral network and a collaborative relationship selling process. But the one client, one solution concept is about to accelerate. Firms across the retail financial industry are at this moment rolling out portfolio aggregation tools built for clients and for financial advisors. These tools have a catch-all phrase of aggregation, but to me, this term leaves a lot to be desired. If the aggregation tools for scraping accounts data into an Excel spreadsheet, then the word aggregation would be acceptable, but that is not what is actually happening. The accounts information is downloaded into performance-driven metric software that tracks portfolio performance, expenses, performance against the client's risk profile, and performance against goal-based planning. In other words, this is a game changer. Whatever the studies have shown over the past couple of years, all the firms are convinced that for every dollar in assets that they have with their clients are holding at least another dollar away. So if you have a $100 million book, your clients hold $100 million away from you. The next two items are related to the last two. There are around 330 million people in America. And if these percentages are true, it means that most, if not all, our clientele will use aggregation software in the next few years. But the next few years start now, as many of the firms already have or are in rollout phase of their aggregation tools. I work with 14 different firms and all will or are right now rolling out aggregation software. BlackRock is a big player with their offering Aladdin, and firms are using it differently. One of the biggest firms are downloading their entire firm every night into Aladdin. That means every day the FA will see their clients in a metrics-driven world. So let's redefine aggregation software. Aggregation software will put on the FA's and the client's desktop a metric-driven analysis of one or multiple accounts. The multiple accounts can be condensed into one account, giving the client or an FA a one client, one solution view based on metrics. Aggregation represents a threat opportunity. This is military jargon. For threat opportunity means that the exact same schema or set of circumstances could either be resolved as a total loss or a total win scenario. And I believe this schema exists for us. By total loss, I mean that we lose our portion of the client's assets, and a total win is we consolidate all the assets. Yes, consolidation is the end game, but aggregation software has changed all the rules of engagement that we have been operating under for the last 40 to 50 years in the retail financial business. What is the new threat to our business? In my opinion, is that our fundamental relationship-driven business model is going to radically change. Marketers are in a panic over disruptive interfaces. Marketers get paid to sell brands, and if a bot makes a decision, then who needs the marketers? We all have our own brand, and we are all susceptible to disruption. Aggregation is a disruptive interface, and by that I mean that our normal dialogue with the client and prospect is disrupted. We control our personal brand, how we talk, present, interact, our likability. We invest this way, we buy active managers or we buy ETFs, we use SMAs or individual stocks. We may overweight our portfolios a certain way, and our clients identify with us and our personalities, and that is a very important factor for us. But aggregation can negate our normal personal interface with clients. Aggregation is a disruptive interface. After thinking about aggregation, it seems to me the one important question we have to answer is this: are we going to be in the room? Clients could aggregate their own accounts and then call us individually to discuss, or they could just ACAT. A client could call one of their FAs and work with the FA on aggregation strategies either before or after using an aggregation tool. or we call the client to discuss aggregation strategies, and that is not a simple conversation. The initial call will be critical. There is only one scenario where we are guaranteed to be in the discussion, and it is up to us to be proactive. PFGC has taught for years that metrics are going to be the most important factor for FAs winning new clients and keeping existing ones. We don't use metrics, don't know how to teach them or sell them to our clients. This is about to dramatically change. It can no longer be about what we think, our personal view, or this is how I allocate. Investing will be driven by metrics, and our ability to discuss metrics with our clients will be the difference between winning and losing. Performance-based investing and presentation will have to change, as we will now need to incorporate metrics, goal-based planning, and risk-adjusted performance, because this is what the client will see with the aggregation tools. Now, aggregation tools scrape the information and drop it into performance and client risk metric software. This means to me that we can lose control of the dialogue. We are not there in the room. We cannot explain why our portfolio may not align with the client's risk profile, why our portfolio underperforms a certain index. Why is the client not tracking his goal-based planning targets? Think of how we would look at the information if we were the client that aggregated 3 separate portfolios from 3 separate FAs. First, I would look at them separately for performance, dividends, expenses, taxes, goal-based planning, and risk metrics. This is a given, as this is what the aggregation tools will deliver automatically. Then I would combine all my portfolios into one, because I am one client with one solution, and that is done with one click of the button. What is the risk and performance metrics of my one portfolio? Will a client call one FA to work with? And if they do, what would be the reason that certain FA is choosing? Winner of the metrics, or I like them best? What about meeting with all the 3 FAs at once? Nobody likes confrontation, so I doubt all 3 of us end up in a room together, because it could look something like this. So no, I don't think this is going to happen. The only thing that makes sense is that either the client will do it themselves, they may aggregate their accounts, but they will need to speak to one of their FAs, or one of the client's FAs will reach out to them. When we aggregate the accounts, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 different accounts, by what methodology would we advise our clients to use for comparison? The client's relationship with their individual FAs, performance against personal risk metrics. Are they tracking their goals with the goal-based planning program, the FA's investment style, or maybe what is their after-tax performance? What advice would we give that client today, right now? I believe when we are dealing with multiple accounts, we will be forced to make metrics the deciding factor. Liking your FA or their investment style will pale if your metrics against the other accounts is last or just doesn't show well. If we are not in the room, how will we speak to our investment style? Frankly, will it even matter if our metrics are against us? PFGC works with over 200 FAs at 14 different firms, and none, and I mean none, run their portfolios based on metrics. Now, with aggregation software, several of the firms will put on the FA's desktop all their portfolios based on metrics. We need to think through our strategy for aggregation. First is defining the size of the threat opportunity. How we speak to our clients about aggregation. Make sure our portfolios show well with the metrics. If our clients are seeing their investments through metrics, we will need to be able to speak to the metrics. Which ones should we use? Which ones are important? How do we explain them to our clients? We need to realize that our old skill set of building portfolios based on performance will now be extended to how to explain the differences between the client's different portfolios. Finally, we are about to move beyond performance-based analysis to goal-based planning analytics. Hopefully, all this will lead to consolidation, and with us. This is a team with $700 million in assets, 400 million in PM, PIA, PMA, whatever your firm calls it. I called and asked them on how many accounts over 50 million do they have, then 25 million and so forth. That's the left-hand column. I wanted to understand the work we have to do to protect ourselves. A couple of days later, I realized I asked only half the question. I called them back about the right-hand column. How many clients do they believe have assets over each hurdle? This is where we start. Define your threat opportunity. If we're going to be proactive, how should we start the conversation? What can we say so that the client will allow us to aggregate and analyze their accounts? The concept that we are one person is easy to understand, and that having multiple accounts leave the client open to risk if they do not have one solution. That is our entree. You know, Bill, we know and understand that our clients have multiple financial accounts, but in the end, you're only one person and have one solution. That solution is made up of three components: investments, taxes, and estate planning. Your financial accounts may and probably are managed by different professionals and yourself, but in the end, they were reflective of one person, you. Therefore, it is important for you to at least understand that your portfolios are working together to meet your goals by maximizing your risk-adjusted after-tax returns. But not only do we have to speak to our clients about aggregation strategies, we also have to make the case that we are the professionals to assist them in the analysis. When we approach our clients and aggregation, we can use our designations as a springboard to consolidation. We can position ourselves as the trained professionals who understands how to build portfolios using metrics, and most importantly, are trained to analyze different portfolios with different metrics and different risk-adjusted profiles to assist you in a collaborative manner to arrive at the best one client, one solution. Again, I have the CPM designation, which means to you I've been trained to build. Now that's old world. Now we're going to pivot into the new world. Analyze and understand the different metrics of your different portfolios and work with you through a collaborative process. This is how we position ourselves to the client as the value-added person. There are many different metrics, and this list is certainly not the entire universe, but it helps us understand that we will need to be fluent in metrics and be able to explain to a client what metrics are important and why. It is my belief that clients will be unable to do this on their own. When presenting to our clients, we must realize where our audience level of knowledge is concerning investments. We must learn to teach as we sell. This is from September 2018. 49% are confused by an ETF, 39% by a mutual fund. We are entering a world that will be driven by portfolio metrics, and 44% of our clients are confused by asset allocation. This is our value add. We teach as we consolidate. A client scrapes or downloads all their financial accounts. If we did aggregate these accounts this morning, how would we proceed to analyze them? We have 4 regular accounts by taxes and 2 that are tax deferred. First question in my mind is, now that we know our clients have different kinds of accounts based on taxes, but have we ever integrated our investment philosophy taking into account the account? If we can see the client holistically, does our presentation address allocation by account? Do we put high dividend investment vehicles into tax deferred accounts or high growth stocks? Does it matter? And if not, why not? What are the rules around investments in retirement accounts versus a regular account? How do we express the best method to our client? How do we articulate after-tax performance? Can we make the case that a consolidated view of the client will lead to our allocations taking into account the tax status of different accounts? Once we did the analysis on all the separate accounts, the aggregation software allows us or the client to aggregate all the accounts into one account. And the client can see themselves truly for the first time as one client, one solution. Does this matter? If the aggregated account analysis shows the client that their overall allocation is skewed from their risk profile, underperforming, and not tax efficient, what would be the process to remedy the situation? Now, I believe if a client does aggregate all their accounts, I cannot believe that by happenstance, it's going to be a very good portfolio. It defies all logic. To me, this is the opportunity. One, we are in the room. And because showing a client that their allocation has increased their risk, lowered their performance, and does not maximize their after-tax performance, it leaves the door wide open for consolidation. As individual FAs, we are under no constraints to work through asset aggregation. We can choose to ignore, but if you do ignore, then you're putting yourself at risk. I personally believe that aggregation tools on our client's desktop is the most disruptive new offering in the retail financial industry since Merrill Lynch introduced the CMA. As an FA at PaineWebber, I can assure you I was disrupted, as was the entire industry. The firms view aggregation as an opportunity to gather more assets from our existing clients, but the challenges to us is how we fundamentally interact with our clientele. No longer will "this is how we always did it" remain relevant. We must expand our skill set so we can survive and thrive. Two quick examples. One, a team was bidding on a new client with $1.2 million in assets. During discovery process, found out the client had a $3.4 million rollover at Vanguard. The FA switched to one client, one solution speech, then built two proposals, one with one account and the other with two accounts using Aladdin. The client decided to bring both accounts to the team. Next, a client was aggregated and decided to keep two FAs from separate firms, but asked both to attend a meeting with him so that his one client, one solution was in sync. This never would have happened. Times are changing. Aggregate or be aggregated may be a true statement. I certainly believe it is. But what is for sure is that clients will consolidate only once. If you'd like to develop your aggregation strategy, please feel free to reach out. Thank you for your time. This is Danny Gallagher of Process for Growth Consulting.